you got to remember, man, like I'm training with who, in my opinion, is the best striker in Australia. It's like, what do you think's happening? I'm just getting smashed every week by Harry. It's like, no, like if I'm hanging with that guy in the gym, I don't think there's anyone in Australia that's going to give me anything I haven't seen in the gym already. So I definitely feel like people are sleeping on my striking. Wherever it goes, I'm confident, man. Like I said, I've got that grappling pedigree and I'm confident in my grappling, but I definitely know I have the striking to back it up.
Oh! First of all, introducing our challenger. Out of the blue corner. He's going to step in and he does. It's all over. Let's bring on the boom.
This is Eternal MMA.
All right, everyone. Welcome back and thank you for joining us here once again on another edition of the Eternal Insiders Podcast, powered by Fight HQ, the official uniform partner for Eternal MMA. We are being joined today by one half of the dynamic pro fighting duo out of Infinite MMA in Ballarat, Victoria. We already had one half put the lightweight strap around his waist about a week and a half ago, and we're joined today by the other half looking to blaze his own trail in the exact same division, and that all continues when he takes on David Martinez on September 14 at Eternal 88. You know who it is, Luke the Diamond Daly, back on the podcast, here to talk about it all. Man, what a whirlwind couple of weeks for you and the team, man. Both between you and Harry, having a couple of fights pull out, getting new opponents, going through a title win for Harry, all the travel and everything. Man, has your head just stopped spinning at this stage or what?
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster, man. But like, if you think about the whole lead up into both of our fights, it hasn't been ideal with obviously everything happened with the gym and everything. So, man, it's just another bump in the road. We're just finding ways to get around it. And but yeah, especially over the last even 2 weeks, it's just been insane. But yeah, it's obviously the pull out with Harry and my pull out on the day of Harry's fight. So yeah, we're getting around it, figuring it out.
A testament to you in the gym, man, because it has been a pretty tumultuous time, but a lot of good things happening, especially with Harry getting that strap. But what a big weekend for mixed martial arts in Perth, brother. I mean, massive weekend for everybody, not just yourself and the team. You were there. How did you enjoy Perth?
Yeah, it was good, man. Obviously, yeah, Harry coming away with the strap was amazing, but you never want you see your teammates have those type of fights. Like those type of fights take years off your life. Obviously, it would have been a lot better to have him get in there and get the quick finish. But man, I think both of those guys, their stock only goes up from there. But yeah, no, it was amazing. Like Perth, that stadium was awesome. Like I'd love to fight in Perth at some point. Like I was originally trying to get on that card, but then when they're matching up with Dom, I think to them it just made sense to put it on the Gold Coast. But then obviously that fell through. But yeah, I'd love to fight in Perth at some point. That stadium was sick.
It is a sick stadium, man. And you attended UFC 305 the next day, pretty sure?
Yeah. Went to UFC the next weekend. That was pretty cool. I got right at the back in the nosebleeds, but
that's all right. You can see down into the cage
where they had it.
So, you know?
What's that? Sorry.
You can see down into the cage from up there, man. You're not like trying to look through the cage at the same time.
Yeah,
down. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I was about to say there didn't really seem like there was a bad seat in that stadium though. Like I enjoyed it from where I was. Luckily, I had decent people around me. Like I had a couple of a South African couple next to me, but they were super chill. And one of my other teammates, he was seated a fair way away from me, and yeah, he had some rough people around him. Let's just say.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't doubt, man. There's a lot of crazy people. I mean, I went to the last Perth event over there, and it was a wild time, man. A lot of crazy fans. But yeah, you're right. Such a good venue and great fights. How did you enjoy the fights in general? Some bangers on there, some good ass.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there was absolute bangers on there. There was a couple of Coolabell. I think he got robbed, but I guess a lot of people think it's up for debate. But yeah, no, there were some good fights. I mean, I didn't expect the main event to go the way that it did. Because he was looking. Adesanya was looking like he was on fire in that round. He was cracking him a fair bit, but that guy's just a bulldozer. He just does not stop coming forward. And I've seen some funny memes and stuff where he's getting pushed in the back and he just falls over to when he throws his big overhands.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, someone shoving him falls into the takedown or whatever. How fucking good is that, man? It's so funny.
Yeah, they're gold. Yeah.
He's so bloody awkward, isn't he? It doesn't make any sense, how he sort of keeps doing it, but he still managed to pull it out of the fire. I bet the South African people that were around you were happy, though.
Yeah, for sure. But they were super chill. Like they obviously celebrated, but they weren't screaming and throwing drinks and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it made it a lot easier to enjoy the show.
Well, I mean, what are we, about a week and a half removed from that epic title fight with your teammate Kevin Coffmill for that lightweight championship strap, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just in terms of everything for you guys in the gym, like, everything it took for you guys to get to that point, like training outside of your own gym, the last minute change of opponents, even for yourself having like a last minute change of opponent and you thinking about whether you're still going to be on the next card and everything, like, can you even just sort of put into perspective, like, how challenging that entire period sort of was and what it meant to sort of, get this part of the job done and bring the belt back home for you guys at Infinite MMA in Ballarat?
Yeah, like I said, like with everything that's gone on, I think that those type of things, like with the opponent pullouts and things like that, they kind of just roll with the punches. Like we've got bigger issues obviously going on, and another thing, I think that's just a testament to John as well. Like for him, like these guys, these scumbags have taken his livelihood away. Like his whole like job has been taken away. Like, and that man is kept a brave face and just showed up every day like it's just another day. And he's probably battling debt and everything, and like insurance companies and like trying to find an income for his family. So obviously it's a testament to him to be able to keep us all level headed and just show up and just act like it's another day to put in the work. But I think, yeah, obviously, the way we are in the gym, and again, it's a testament to John. It just instills that mentality of us in us just to roll with the punches, and things will eventually work out. And also, I think throughout our amateur career, especially for Harry, but even myself, there was a period there where we just had like pull out after pull out. So I think we kind of got used to it back then. I don't know, man. It's obviously been a roller coaster, but yeah, we've kind of just found a way to just be like, yeah, it is what it is.
No, huge testament to you and the gym. And you just touched on your coach there, John Campbell. I mean, all credit to him as well. I was going to ask you about him and just like what an absolute whirlwind of a time it is for him, especially being his gym with his students and everything. But I mean, like, how's he sort of been for you guys, or not just as your coach, but I mean, like as a mentor and a leader to a couple of young guys? Like, it's just so much bigger than MMA. It's so much bigger than fights and a gym and everything. Like, I can only imagine a guy like John has just been an absolute rock for you guys during this period.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, I think any lesser of a man would have crumbled under that situation and not really done anything until they were able to open the gym back up or anything like that, or would have maybe had to go on down another avenue for the meantime to provide for his family. But obviously, all the support we've had in the community and stuff has helped, but that man has been solid as a rock. Like I said, he's been showing up every day in his own time, like for free, like training the fight team and still getting us ready for fights and still like proving that we're one of, if not the top team in Australia. Like we don't even have a gym. We've just got basically a shed with wall mats and floor mats. And we're still able to put in the work to be showing up and showing that we're the best. So, yeah, like I said, it's awesome. He's been a rock for a lot of us, to be able to show up to the gym and kind of put all that stuff aside and just focus on the task at hand has been awesome.
It's an amazing tight-knit gym with a couple of guys that are essentially, like good mates, not just sort of teammates and that sort of thing too. And it sort of makes me think a lot about, this fight. And I want to talk obviously a lot about your upcoming fight too, but I mean, you mentioned there before about not wanting to see, your teammate and friend in sort of the state that he was after that fight. I mean, epic performance, and he was in, pretty good spirits considering after the fight. But, just for yourself personally, sort of seeing that kind of performance, but seeing the kind of the state that Harry was in after that, like how tough for that was it for you personally to sort of see him like that?
Yeah, it was really tough, man. Like it kind of, in a weird way, it kind of showed that he was human. Like obviously throughout his whole amateur career and even in his pro career, he was just looking unstoppable. And he still did, but it's just like he just had a guy with an absolute granite chin in front of him. But yeah, it was really tough, man. Like we had to carry him out the back. Once we got past all the cameras and stuff, we carried him out the back just because it was a bit hard for him to walk. And then once we got out the back, he just dropped to the floor and he didn't really move for a while. He was basically covered in ice packs.
Yeah.
And all of us were just kind of in awe and just obviously we just fucking had a roller coaster of emotions in the fight, and borderline having heart attacks in the corner. So yeah, when we got at the back, it was a bit. At first, it was like kind of shock, and then he had the guys from PRP and obviously the Eternal Media filming and stuff, and they wanted to ask him questions. And eventually, once he calmed down a bit and was able to talk, he started answering a few questions and like got a bit emotional about like everything going on with the gym and stuff. And yeah, that hit all of us. All of us had tears in our eyes and stuff. So it was definitely tough, but I think definitely after the fact, we've gotten to see the good side of obviously the fact that he's the champ. He's brought the belt home regardless of what all the guys from Perth and his gym are saying, which is, I guess, understandable. They want their boy to win, but in my opinion, it's regardless of the result, because I feel like even if it went the other way, we wouldn't have been jumping up and down. It's like it was a sick fight. Like no one, like the fans won in that fight. Like a testament to both those boys. I think regardless of the result, we shouldn't be throwing out things like robbery and all this bullshit. I think that's a bit rough for both the boys. Yeah, again, regardless of the result.
Yeah, I think I had a long, hard think about that for a time. Like, you see a lot of sort of stuff on social media, and I think that's just, I love, I love and sort of hate MMA fans at the same time, because they're just the most fickle sort of group of people that just sort of, they want to shoot off at the mouth or on the keyboard, at first sort of opportunity, that sort of thing. I guess that's people's rights as fans and that sort of thing too. But I mean, it's just in perspective for everything that, a couple of guys just sort of went through. And I saw that video that PRP put out of you and the team and Harry at the back and everything. And same thing, man, like it brought a tear to my eye and just really like, yeah. I know what you guys go through, but it even gave me like just another level of perspective that like, holy shit. Cause I was on this high from watching the fight and just finished up like, oh my God, I hope he's okay. But then even just sort of seeing that vision, a couple of days later just sort of really brings you back down to earth and makes you realize it's just so much bigger. It made me actually think about, I don't know if you saw those videos of when Dan Hooker fought Dustin Poirier that time. And they had the footage of Dan at the back, and they're saying, Dan, can we ask you some questions? And he's just like
yeah, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
100% though, man. And look where he is now, man. Like, like if you look at the bright side, I mean, top 5 lightweight. So, I mean, you go through these things and you still bounce back stronger than ever, which I got no doubt that Harry will. I'm curious, even just in that last sort of 30 seconds of the fight, man, because what an absolute banger it was. Like, what's going through your mind as the crowd's roaring? Like they're slinging hell for leather, like there's a takedown at the end there. Like what's sort of going on inside your mind and your chest at that time?
Oh, I mean, it was not much, man. Like it's kind of panic stations at that point. Like the crowd's so loud that neither fighter can hear anything you're saying. Like we were screaming in the corner. We all lost our voices, just trying to get something to Haz for him to hear us. But at that point, it was just like they were leaving it all out there. There was a little bit of panic, obviously, at the end when he started sinking in that choke. Yep. And but speaking of, like Harry, you obviously would have seen his post today about his broken jaw.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, hell, man. Like,
he broke his jaw at the start of the 4th round.
Yeah.
Cop Hamill sunk a choke in with 10 seconds to go and was crushing his jaw, and Harry still didn't tap. Like, I think he would have had to like kill Harry to win that fight. I cannot believe how tough Harry was. Like both of them, obviously. Like Cop Hamill took some absolute banger shots off Harry, who we all know hits like a truck. He's KO'd and TKO'd like 90% of his fights. So for him to take those shots, testament to him. But yeah, Harry, man, like broken nose, I think probably in the 2nd round, and then his jaw in the start of the 4th, and then just like still like trying to finish the fight, like standing there throwing hell for leather, like you said.
I couldn't believe, man. I couldn't believe what I was sort of watching, just like waiting for either one of those guys to sort of go down at any second and just unrelenting until the end. And like you said at the start of the pod, like just the fans won that one. I mean, both guys just come out on top, regardless of what the result was going to be. Whoever wins, whoever loses, like both guys' stock just goes up. Harry walks away the champion. Thank you for Harry, and thankful for the team and everything. But just that'll live on. Like what an epic fight. I'm going to watch it back so many times because like for everything that was stressful that came out of that fight, so much good in terms of the performance and living up to his name. The human highlight reel was very sort of cool to see. So, but we look forward to you, man, because I mean, out of this, his original opponent was David Martinez, which is of course, flash forward a couple of weeks. You're now fighting David Martinez. You were originally supposed to be fighting Don Marfan, who originally had to pull out of the fight. But can you give us a bit of an idea of the timeline of how this all sort of came about? When you found out that Don might be out of the fight, Harry losing David, and then eventually you finding out that David might be a possibility for you to fight. The stress of potentially thinking you're not going to be on the card for Eternal 88. How did everything sort of play out in your memory?
Well, I think it was like the week leading up to Harry's fight. I was hearing some news of Dom might not be able to make, because obviously the show got pushed back. So within the couple of weeks leading up to Harry's fight, I'd kind of heard some whispers about him not being able to make the date or something like that. So I
just
assumed
very quickly, we did get pushed. The card did get pushed back a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it got pushed back 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going crazy.
No, it was August 31st, which is this weekend, but then it got pushed back another 2.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Continue. I'm not going crazy.
Yeah.
This must have happened without me knowing. But anyway, sorry. Continue with the timeline. I'm just catching up with things now. So, yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of heard some whispers in the lead up, and I'd spoken to my coach, and he was made aware that Dom might not have been able to make that date. And, I assumed it was injury, and I'd heard whispers about possible rib injury or some shit. But I didn't really have my hopes up. That I kind of put it in my head then that he was out. Like, I didn't think 2 weeks would make much of a difference. So we immediately just went on to looking for someone else. And, no one was really putting their hand up. We got names thrown at us, but no real offers. So I don't know if they turned it down or the offer wasn't made. But and then the day of Harry's fight, when we were at the back, when they put up the poster up on the screen, it said me versus to be confirmed. And then Southern Cross Combat posted and tagged me in it saying that Dom was out due to injury. So, I think, I can't remember how long it was. So how long are we out now? Two weeks out from Haz?
About a week and a half, yeah. So
week and a half, yeah. So it was over the weekend, probably Friday or Saturday, when I first, John called me actually, and he was like, "Oh, I got a weird one for you." And then he was like, of all the people that you think they would offer, who is it? And I was just like, Martinez wasn't even in my head at that point. I was like, there's no way they're going to offer that fight because he just pulled out.
Yeah.
But, he said Martinez, and I was just like, look, let's do it if that's what they're offering. They accepted straight away. And I think Martinez must have put his hand up because he felt guilty or I don't know. But, we'll see if he can even make it to the fight or make weight. Let's hope he does. Because I know he's had some issues, whether it's bad luck or I don't know what it is, but out of his last 4, I think he's only made weight once. So let's hope it gets across the line.
What is the concern level for you with that? Because there has been a bit of a spotlight on David's weight cutting issues, and obviously there was some things put out from David's team in terms of the reasons why he potentially had to pull out from this one, looking like that he'd injured himself, hampering his ability to potentially cut weight. But we know he's had weight cutting issues sort of in the past regardless of that. So, this is only a couple of weeks away. In terms of you sort of accepting the fight, knowing all this sort of information, are you sort of concerned that this might be a hindrance in the lead up to this one for you facing him?
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. I try not to let it get to me too much. I'm just focusing on training for him and try not to think about that too much, not let it affect my training at all. But it's definitely a concern. But I don't know. I'm kind of keeping good faith and keeping in good mindset that he's going to get across the line and make weight and everything. So let's hope he does, and let's hope I can show why I belong at the top of the division.
In terms of the preparation for this one, man, I mean, there's no real ideal scenario for you to lose an opponent and wonder if you're even still going to be on the card in general. But, in terms of David as an opponent, I mean, similar style characteristics, you might sort of say, to your original opponent in Don Marfan. We both know, we know they both like to use their wrestling. We like to, we know they like to use their striking to sort of set up their takedowns and that sort of thing too. So, and you were helping Harry prepare for him, right? Originally. Yeah. So, preparing for that sort of style of fight. So in terms of having an opponent switch, is this about as seamless of an opponent switch as you could possibly ask for, given the style similarities and given you are helping your teammate essentially train for the same guy, and it's just a plug and play, you're just fighting him instead of Harry now?
Yeah, definitely, man. It's like a lot of there were so many similarities in what we were prepping for with those two guys. So there was very few adjustments we have to make to switch over to Martinez. And like you said, I was already training with Harry when he was preparing for Martinez. So it's just, like you said, plug and play. It's like I just take the things that Harry was working on and implement him into my game plan. So yeah, it's pretty seamless, and we're definitely putting in the right tools and the right game plan to beat this guy.
I mean, I'm sure you would have put your hand up to face anyone that would have thrown at you, man, knowing you for sure. So, but it's David Martinez, similar opponent to Don Marfan. It's going to be an absolute cracker of a fight. And I'm curious just in general in terms of your thoughts on the matchup, man. I mean, we already touched on David's style. Very familiar with David's style in terms of his grappling. You know, his striking sort of, improved over the last couple of fights, shall we say. Still looking to use that to kind of set up his takedowns and everything. We know what a dominant grappler you are. We know your submission threats, especially as evidenced by your twisted submission at Eternal 84. What a highlight that was. But just in terms of the striking game, I mean, is this sort of a bit of a sleeper element for you, I guess, maybe coming into this one, given that, you're such a credentialed grappler, given that you've got an incredible record through your amateur career and your pro career for putting people to sleep? Do you think people are maybe sort of sleeping on their hands? I know you got heavy hands, but is this maybe like a bit of I wouldn't say an unknown quantity game, but maybe just a bit of a sneaky part of your game that people haven't seen the full potential of yet?
Yeah, definitely, man. I definitely still think people haven't seen the best of me. Like, obviously, I've had some good performances, especially my last one with the twister, and everyone, I think, obviously knows me for my grappling and because, yeah, all of my finishes have come from my grappling. But I think in most scenarios, it's usually not. I think from memory, my most recent fight where I was the one initiating the grappling was against Kobe Porter. And that was because I knew he was wild with his striking and had heavy hands, and that's where I had the advantage. But a lot of the times it's them, either them initiating the grappling, or because of my feint heavy game and my striking, like it forces the grapple. So I definitely think it's an area people are sleeping on me. But you got to remember, man, like I'm training with who, in my opinion, is the best striker in Australia. It's like, what do you think's happening? I'm just getting smashed every week by Harry. It's like, no, like if I'm hanging with that guy in the gym, I don't think there's anyone in Australia that's going to give me anything I haven't seen in the gym already. So I definitely feel like people are sleeping on my striking, and not to sleep on Martinez either. Like it might not be the prettiest striking, but it works for his style. He likes to press forward with that heavy pressure and utilize his striking to draw out a gunfight to shoot those takedowns. So. But yeah, I definitely think that people are sleeping on my striking, and I'm hoping to implement that in this fight. But wherever it goes, I'm confident, man. Like I said, I've got that grappling pedigree, and I'm confident in my grappling. But I definitely know I have the striking to back it up.
We know you're not shy with the hands, man, because, I mean, even if you look at your last performance against Jordan Thomas where you got that twisted submission, I mean, you were ready to throw down in those. I mean, the opening seconds when he's coming at you and you were throwing back like crazy. So I don't think it's necessarily like a sleeper part of your game. I just think it's just you've been able to utilize your strengths in your game so far in terms of the grappling and the submissions. And I think this is just an extra tool that you've got to wield when you're sort of ready to use it. So let's see how that sort of plays out against David Martinez. Any thoughts on that one, man? Another twisted submission win for this one? Like, can we back it up 2 for 2? Like, what are you thinking? Anything special?
Oh, man, in an ideal world, but like I've said before, like I'm not necessarily looking for anything flashy. If it presents itself, then for sure I'm looking for it. But regardless, I'm looking for the finish, whether it's on the feet or in the grappling. I'm not looking to leave it to the judges, because like we just seen in if it goes the distance, it's like, especially in enemy territory, you just don't know with the judges. So I'm definitely looking to finish. But yeah, man, if the twisted presents itself, I'm definitely gonna go for it. But I'm not necessarily just going to be hunting that. That's for sure.
I'll put some money on it just in case it happens. Man, the thing's only been done a handful of times in history, so let alone 2 for 2. But let's see if we can make it happen, man. I mean, let's just prioritize the win first and foremost. But last couple before I let you go, man. You look at just sort of like the next sort of 12 months of your career. I mean, you get through David, I mean, you would be on a 4-fight win streak in the most stacked division in the country, right? Your teammate, as we know, just captured the lightweight title in your division. Have you given much sort of thought in terms of what sort of the next 12 months of your career looks like? I know you're not looking past David in any sort of way, but everything considered, with Harry potentially, on the shelf healing up, rightfully so, over the next however sort of long, what's it sort of look like for you? I know you must have your own aspirations for the title and that sort of thing yourself. Is this just sort of a matter of, you're you'll keep the division warm and clean house for Infinite MMA sort of over the next however many months, regardless of titles? Like, what are your sort of visions for the next period of time?
Yeah, look, like the title's obviously nice. It kind of signifies you're at the top of the heap, but regardless of the belt, I'm here just to fight the best guys. I'm here to prove that I'm the best, and I belong in those upper echelons in like UFC and things like that. So regardless of the belt, I'm just looking to fight the best guys. So if Harry's looking to be out for a little while and I have to fight other guys at the top of the division, man, it'd be nice to have me and Haz as at 1 and 2. But yeah, like for now, my focus is on Martinez because I know the tough challenge got ahead of me. So he's my main focus for now. But yeah, like I'm not too stressed about the dynamic of the division because yeah, it doesn't matter who they put in front of me. I'm looking to take out like the top guys. That's like I said.
Well, I mean, there's no shortage of opponents in the Eternal MMA ranks, especially in lightweights to give you plenty of opponents for whatever comes next in the future, man. But David Martinez, it is for September 14 at Eternal 88. I mean, in the lead up to this one, man, can we get a little bit more of the day in the life of Luke Daly on Instagram? I think you were doing a little bit there where you were like, what I'm eating for the day. I'm at work for the day. This is what I do in the morning. I mean, it makes guys like us, the regular chumps, think like, fuck, I could do this sort of shit too. Like, I was enjoying that little series, man. We need to see more from you on social media. I was liking that. The ice baths, it was pretty cool. We need to see more of that stuff, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's an area I'm trying to work on. Obviously, my life's a bit hectic with my little boy and family and training and work and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to prioritize social media, but yeah, I'll see what I can do, man. I'll try and keep those things up. Try and keep the social media popping.
Priorities, man. The big one coming up is September 14 versus David Martinez at Eternal 88 on the Gold Coast. Cannot wait for this one. What a stat card. Alfred Stoddard versus John Martin Fraser at the top of that billing. Infinite MMA looking to go 2 for 2 in a matter of a couple of weeks and keep the division rolling for the lightweights in that particular division for Eternal MMA. And pleasure to have you back on the show again, man. Second time we've done it. Looking forward to talking again. All the best for Eternal 88, and we'll see you on the other side, man.
Thanks for having me, brother.